name is Nathan Hatchie. I wrote a few books, and welcome to your Come Up channel. If you like what you watch, don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe and the bell notification so you don't miss your Come Up. Now let's get into the comments. Good morning, Owen. Thanks for joining in today. And for those that don't know who you are, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, absolutely. So Nate, thanks so much for having me on this. First off, this is great. You've been super awesome. Your first book was great. I'm gonna read the Come Up soon. We got that coming out on my page soon. But quick summary of who I am. I'm the creator of Unleash the Knowledge. It's a social media brand where we've grown into promoting books mainly and really just building a digital community for lifelong learners and avid readers to have that community where you can connect with people that want to level up. They want to have more come-ups. I don't believe that there's only one come-up. I'm sure that, there's multiple that come on or come across in your lifetime.
Right.
And, but prior to that, I just spent the last 6 years in college basketball. I was a rising coach. I was with University of Rhode Island for 4 years. And then the past 2, I was with University of Connecticut. And, through those years, I learned so much, and I'm sure a lot of the things that I learned is going to be put into a book one day. So stay tuned for that. And but other than that, I am young. I'm fresh out of school. I studied a lot of things like marketing and public relations and business and leadership studies and financial risk management. So I kind of have a wealth of academic knowledge, but my growth and interest in books have really, sparked an insane, level of growth is the best way to put it, and how that's happened probably in the last 2 years or so, 2-3 years. So I was never really a reader, to be honest. Growing up in high school, I wasn't even academically driven. I was more of the social guy. I liked playing sports. I was doing all the type of things that was outside of the classroom. But once I got to college, I really experienced this epiphany of having my back against the wall, and it was this weird divine intervention of some sort that kind of came across me. And it was like, man, if I mess up here, I'm going to go the rest of my life trying to explain what happened in these past 4 years. And obviously it costs a ton of money. So I knew that the investment I was making and my family was making was so important. So I really doubled down in college, was able to get a master's degree, which was something, high school Owen could have never even imagined. Everyone I probably went to school with is probably blown by that I've actually been able to achieve that. So, but yeah, I mean, we're a year in with Unleash the Knowledge, and it's been great to connect with you and many other authors. And one of our core missions is really that everyone has a story, and I want to be able to build a platform where I could get that story out to the masses. And obviously, if it could help one person, then we've done our job, and that's enough. But big plans in the making. We'll see where the next year takes us. And other than that, reading every day, learning every day, trying to grow.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations on your success with Unleash the Knowledge. 1 year, you said? 1 year anniversary?
Yes, 1 year in.
Jeez, man. And then you've grown, and then you've been blessed with over 20,000 followers with Unleash the Knowledge. How'd you do it, man? Because some people spend like years getting up to 20,000, getting followers, and 1 year, you must have that secret sauce or something.
We're almost at 30, which is super exciting. But the best thing I tell people, and I'm sure you can attest to this, and all the listeners can as well, and COVID completely showed us this as well, is that if you don't have a digital presence, your business is going to go down sooner or later. Right. Brick and mortar storefront businesses, physical shops are obviously dying. Retail is dying. The physical, act of going into Macy's is they're taking a massive hit. My mom actually works there, so I've kind of got a little bit of intel in the department stores and things like that, but everything's moving online. So when I talk about building a social media presence, and what I've done for my brand and what I try to tell other people is, you got to treat your profile as a storefront. That's the only thing people are seeing. They're seeing your logo. They're seeing your first probably 6 grid feed posts.
Yeah.
They're seeing your bio. Obviously, they're seeing the follower count and whatever else you might have, maybe those highlights if you want to incorporate those. Right. So you really got to like that's, you got to put yourself in the position of the follower and the person looking at your profile and be like, would I follow this person? Would I engage? Is this something that would be interesting to me? So I've taken that approach, and obviously it's had great success, and obviously just by the grace of God, a lot of the growth can be dedicated to him. But other than that, it's really just been producing, valuable content, trying to give back to people, try to, share my own knowledge that I've gained from books, my own life experiences. And in my 1-year video, I spoke that this coming year, I want it to be the year of vulnerability. So I'm going to share more about myself and more of how I've gone through come-ups and where change has been incredible for me. Because like I just said, like 5-6 years ago, who I was is completely different to the person I am today. And I can't even imagine what 5 years down the road is going to be. I know that there's many more, blessings to come and struggles, but with that, we'll have a lot of light as well. So, but yeah, the main piece, main pillar is consistency as well. I've posted every single day. I haven't missed a day in over 365 days. So yeah, so it's, it's a process. It's by all means a process. And, there's obviously little nitty gritty kind of details about hashtags and
I have my own personal fear with Instagram hashtags. I mean,
right. But at the end of the day, if you have a good message and you want to help people, it's going to work in your favor. Yes, there's an algorithm. Yes, there's a bunch of computer science guys behind the computer programming things left and right.
Right.
But I truly believe if you're not looking for a monetary gain, at the forefront, you're really just looking to provide value and connect with people, collaborate. And I mean, I built it in the beginning selfishly for myself because I wanted to connect with people that were more like myself, people that wanted to take the next level, people that have experienced change, things like that. So through that, I'm a follower of my own brand. I think that's kind of a piece too to whatever you're doing. You're writing a book, you're creating a course, a product, a service, whatever it may be.
Right.
You should be a consumer of it as well. And I think with that mentality, you'll be able to, skyrocket your message.
Oh, I agree 100%. It's kind of funny you mentioned with COVID how, you got to have a storefront. And COVID what started with my Instagram account. I mean, I've always had it since 2010, but I've never done anything with it. And April, right around the time, or a little bit after the first shutdown, I'm like, let me grow it. I got these books out. I got to grow it. Yeah. Realizing it is not easy to grow an Instagram account at all. It's almost like you have to give something of value. People see it. You're like, man, okay, well, it's cool, but we'll see. I mean, that's one post out of all your posts. Then you give something else more value. Yeah. And then it seems like after like the 10th or 14th post, it's like, okay, you're for real. Maybe we'll give you a like instead of a follow. We're not ready to trust you just yet, And when did your genesis of books begin? Because I believe with education, like college, I believe that's important because, you can make a living, you kind of meet your friends, you meet your network, and you learn how to network and social skills. But with books, self-education, that's where your come up in terms of financial, personal, spiritual, maybe even physical, comes about. So when did your love of books begin?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah,
absolutely. So I credit, a lot of what I've been able to do and where my mental game is at and, many aspects of my life currently to the past 6 years in basketball. Mm-hmm. And sports in general, entertainment, all these businesses that are completely cutthroat and you really got to bring your A game every single day. Right. And if you're lacking in this one area, one other guy is working harder than you. With that kind of mindset, I was introduced to books really through, or at least the personal development, nonfiction kind of realm of books. And Coach Dan Hurley, who was, my boss, my coach for 6 years, he's a perfect example of someone who's always looking to level up, someone who's always trying to push the needle in the right direction. So I gained a lot of knowledge from him. Mm-hmm. And, it first started slowly in the areas of, we had like a team book we'd read as a group, and really like the mindset of, like I just said, when I got to college with my back against the wall, and I really thought, I have to do more to get to where I'm trying to get to. Like, it's not just going to happen. So
Right.
really in the last 6 years, that kind of started. And then I always say this one quote too, and it's P. Diddy said it once, Puff Daddy. I don't know what the context was, but when he was younger, he wanted to be obviously who he is today. And he always would go onto the Forbes magazine. Back then it was print or in the newspaper. Now you could just Google it. But he would look to see who the top 10 people are and try to emulate what they're doing. And if you were to do that right now, which I've done, just to, become knowledgeable with who's the top leaders. If you look at that now, you see Jeff Bezos, obviously, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and obviously Jeff Bezos is at the helm of that list. And if you think about what he did to gain that wealth, it's e-commerce. And that's exactly back to the point of what we were just talking about, building something digital. So once you see that, you're like, okay, that's where the world's trending. Let me start following that path. And I'm not sure who was at the top during P. Diddy's time. Maybe it was a musician. Maybe it was Dr. Dre or something, and that's what kind of built that fire within him. Yeah. But it really, it started with a mentor, with Coach Hurley. It started with the drive to become better, to reach my optimal potential, and then just really seeing so many patterns between all of the top industry leaders in the world. They're all readers. They're all active learners. They're all lifelong learners. They journal, they reflect, they do all these kind of life principle activities in the morning before bed that kind of gets their head right and is, pushes them to be who they are. So I'm just, going through that process. I'm just trying to do as much as I can to reflect people like that, to, one day hope to let my creative juices flow and try to create something. And I'm, the deeper mission behind Unleash the Knowledge is to rethink education in one way or another. And I'm fortunate for my education, and I come from a very, not very financially stable household growing up. So the fact that I've been able to gain this amount of academic knowledge is completely beyond me. It's incredible. So I've had that experience, but then I've also had the self-education drive where you could just go to the library, pick up a random book, and probably gain 80% of the knowledge you probably would gain in a classroom. Right. So I think with that kind of perspective that I've had is going to be super beneficial for me moving forward. And I truly believe that you can have a whole college degree simply off of books. If you want to be a psychologist, and like this is just a topic that's been going around today, mental health and going to a therapist and, dealing with all the things that are going on in the world. You can read the same amount of books that person who is sitting across the couch from you has probably read, and probably gain, 80% of the knowledge that he or she had. It's incredible. And it all goes back to, I think Mark Cuban said it too, but all the knowledge is in the world. Like, it's already, all the knowledge is accessible. It's free more times than not, and it's out there. You just got to go seek it out.
I agree. I started a new, obviously, the YouTube venture, and then video editing. That's something I just learned through, messing around with TikTok and the basics. And now it's simple, but it's just time consuming. So now I have a whole lot more respect for the people that actually do it, like the YouTubers or, the film directors or whatnot. That's pretty awesome there. What's a challenge in your life that you had to endure and how'd you come up? That was tough that you came up from?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a core piece to me because, growing up, I wasn't academically driven. I wasn't, I was diagnosed with, I think, ADD, ADHD growing up. I think a lot of kids are. I don't even know if that's an exact, I don't even know if that's I don't think everyone diagnosed with that is exactly, has that illness per se.
Everyone has it by default,
Right, exactly. It's like a scapegoat. It's like, oh, you can't focus, you have ADHD, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, a challenge has been to, like I haven't been the top of my class. I haven't been, I graduated high school with a 2.8 GPA, and for me that's low. I don't know the listeners if they think that's high or low, but I'll put into context and perspective. There was kids graduating my high school who had above a 4.0. I didn't even know you can surpass a 4.0. Like if you're in these honors courses, it's on a 5.0 scale. So yeah, so that's, I mean, with that perspective and I always felt, at least in the academic sense, I was an outcast. I wasn't the brightest person. I never wanted to read in class. I always, I didn't stutter, but I have this, and I still kind of have this issue. It's just, I'm growing through it, but it's not quite dyslexia, but I move too fast mentally and my mouth doesn't always catch up. So I think I'll say the wrong word when I'm reading it, and I'll think it's correct, but, obviously it won't be correct. Like there's a funny story. Once I was in 7th grade and we were in the geography B, we were in the last round of the school geography B, and whoever won that class was able to go onto the stage during the assembly. And I was doing really well because at least in geography and history, it's mostly memorization. You just got to remember the facts. It's not, you don't have to, compute an algebra equation or anything like that. So I was almost there. And to my knowledge, I think it was the last question, and I literally said the wrong answer, but the right answer was in my head. And when the teacher told me I was wrong, I was completely caught off guard. I was like, what are you talking about? I thought I said the right answer. Yeah. And I literally just missed the qualifier in that area. So, the biggest, the challenge, the come up, it's literally what I'm doing today and who I was 5 or 6 years ago, or even 10 years ago, a struggling academic student, someone who, school didn't come easy to me. And then when I got to college in kind of the past 6 years or so, it's just completely changed. And simply the reason that has changed, I think, is that I've just given it more attention. I've focused stronger on it. I've seen the benefits of what could happen if I do well in these areas. And I mean, I could talk all the time about like mindset and this comes from my sports background, but I truly believe that, someone who decides to commit a crime versus someone who decides to dedicate their whole life to, a ministry, it's all mental. It's the same. It's, there's no physical piece that you can kind of connect to those actions towards. It's all what goes on in between the ears. And so for that, it's a powerful deal. The mind's crazy, and I'm trying to learn more about neuroscience and stuff like that. That's still beyond me, out of my realm, but so much more to learn about the brain and how we act and why we do things.
All right. 2 more questions. I got a couple more questions for you. How many books do you read? Like, do you read a book a week, a book a few days, or? I'm looking at all the books back there and I'm like, that's a lot. You can start a library.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of these books, to be completely honest, are not fully read. Okay. I've read, this year, I'm almost on 40. I'm shooting for 60. So okay. I have 39 completed books on the year. And I do, like, I do a lot.
5 books a month.
Yeah, just about. Some months have been more. Like January, February, March, I was in basketball. I just left basketball mid-March when COVID hit. So that was a big grind. I wasn't able to read as much. So kind of April until now, it's been kind of like my zone. I've been building Unleash the Knowledge. I've been reading more. So I spend a lot more time doing that. In general, though, I mean, I probably read 100 plus at the current moment. Nothing, that's still not a crazy number to me, but I'm really just starting out. It might look like I've had it going for now. And I mean, I have the grad degree, I have the master's or the bachelor's degree, but this is all a process that I feel like I'm still building the foundation. Right. But I do, I read a lot for sure. And I'm a big physical copy guy. I really, it's not that I don't believe in audiobook, but I feel that, you just gain so much more to actually flip the page, to write in the margins, to highlight, to actually sit down and slow down your life and actually focus in on a couple words on a page and really try to digest that. Audiobooks, unless you're driving, even when you're driving, you're focusing on the road, you're focusing on the signs, but your subconscious is in like your mental state, it's still focused on so many other things. If you're reading a book under a light on a couch, that's like all you're doing. So I'm a, an advocate for physical books, but not against the audiobook or anything sort of that. But if I get a lot of ebooks, PDFs, but I much rather have the PDF. I mean, I'd much rather have the physical book. Sorry.
I agree with you. I'm more audio, but if I had to do ebooks or physical, no, give me a physical book. I don't want an ebook.
Definitely.
And back to you going back for your master's for not being an academic person, that's a testament to you, man. Because after I got my BA, I said, heck no, I'm not going back to school. I'm done. I wasn't an academic person either. And I think sometimes you just have to learn how to package certain things to certain people. And I like to say I can kind of adapt to, depending on how people can receive it. But I want to ask you this. I mean, you seem like you have a lot going on. How do you find balance in your life? I think that's the age-old question that people are like, I have so much stuff going on. How do you kind of, you can't, too much of one thing is never good. Yeah, it's all in moderation. How do you find balance in your life?
Right. That's a great question. And to be honest, I do have a problem where I bite off too much I could chew. That is, I almost have too much balance where I could juggle a bunch of things and give a decent effort to each of them. And I think that might play back to the part of, the ADD and ADHD growing up, that I always got to be active. I got to have a bunch of things going at one time. Right. But to be honest, I did a project in college actually on time management. And again, all goes back to the basketball environment, and being a student athlete I wasn't a student athlete, but I was so involved with the team where I was living that exact life, balancing school and traveling the nation, doing all these things, being very busy with the sport. Right. So that taught me to really prioritize my time, really valuing the minute. So, a couple tactical tips is obviously a to-do list is necessary, kicking it off the day, big things to get done. And then, and I always fill up my to-do list more than I should probably. And I don't know if that's exactly the right advice to be giving, but it's kind of the way I work, where, you get the satisfaction of slicing down something that you did. And that's kind of a subconscious kind of reminder that you're getting things done. And then to see more, I believe, on the page, it makes you work more efficiently almost, because if you only have 2 or 3 tasks to get done, and when I say multiple tasks, I say maybe like 3 big headers, and then like many sub tasks within that. So like Unleash the Knowledge will be 1 header, and then I'll have a bunch of little things to get done within that brand. And the same goes for something else. So by seeing more tasks, it's almost like, okay, I have all this stuff to get done. Let me try to really work efficiently, zone in, have some deep focus, put the phone away, and really try to lock in and get things done. So that's been helpful for me. Rising early has been a struggle for me. I've been, that's another kind of success principle that you always see as you read self-development books. It's the reoccurring theme that the legends, they rise early, they rise before the sun. And I'm
5:30 early, 6 o'clock early, or?
Well, that's the hope. That's the goal. Yeah, 5:30 or 6, because kind of before life gets crazy. But right now I'm at like 7:30. But sometimes I even drift past that. Yeah. No. So, and it's tough, especially like you're in California. So you think like, if you want to measure when the world wakes up, it's like when the stock market opens in New York, which is at 9 a.m., which is 6 a.m. for you. Right. So, and that I'm sure that's a whole nother dynamic to deal with over on your end. Obviously, if you're not in finance, it doesn't matter as much, but I can't even imagine, being in finance in California, you got to rise at like 5 a.m. just to start work, not even to relax. You have to like get ready for
Yeah, that's true. They do. They're probably up by 5, start looking through things. Me personally, I'm more of an index kind of guy. Just put it in and let it work. I don't want to look at it because.
Sure.
Plus, I got a little bit of time on my hands,
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not I have a portfolio, but I'm not an active trader. I'm not, every day, check. I mean, I'm not crazy about it. I got many other things going on, and I'm technically a finance guy by trade, but I'm not even, that's not quite the route I want to go. I 100% probably can take on the Wall Street life, but I'm all about, I'm all about the new models. The Wall Street stock market, that's been going on for years on end. It's the same model. And I think you touched upon it a little bit before, how college is cookie cutter. It's like in high school as well. They teach you one way, and if you don't learn that certain way, you're going to fall behind. And that's unfortunate. And that's why a lot of kids struggle. And that's why I personally think I struggled as well growing up. And that's kind of another aspect where I'm looking to rethink the model. But yeah, back to time management and staying focused and having balance. I think Grant Cardone said it, and I really do resonate with it. He talks about like work-life harmony, and I think Richard Branson talks about it too, who's my number one entrepreneur idol, because he's living a great life. He's living a different life than most people, and he's doing it his way, which I think is completely, how you should. You should do it. An unconventional way is so much more attractive than playing by the rules. But it's
in a box,
Exactly. Get out of there. Go somewhere else. Right. Test the new waters. See what new heights you could get to. But by treating it as a harmony, it's like it's everything kind of flows together. It's not quite like, all right, family and this, like maybe your family in one way or another is associated with your work one way or another. Maybe you're writing a book about your kids. Like everything's kind of intertwined in some way. There's many different combinations that you could do, that you could think about. But yeah, I mean, you just got to prioritize, man, and it's helped me and valuing your time, and obviously you got to have discipline with the phone and social media. And even though my brand is on social media, I do monitor my screen time to make sure I'm not going overboard with it, and that's been helpful.
Parental control your screen time?
Well, I have to sometimes. I mean, you can find yourself just refreshing the same post over and over again just to watch a couple likes increase and maybe one comment, but putting it away and then reaching back to it after an hour, obviously there's more engagement, which is more exciting. But it'll allow you to, be more productive in the other areas of what you're trying to do that day.
I agree with that. I mean, because sometimes if I do something for too long, that one thing, my brain starts to drift and I try to sway something somewhere else. So I do what you say, the night before, put a list of tasks. If I just go in that day without even a clear goal, then you're just doing a whole bunch of nonsense without any purpose. But then again, sometimes let's say I'm writing a book and I write for an hour. I'm like, I'm done. My brain's fried. And let's say I scroll to Instagram or scroll on to TikTok just for a little relief, like a 5-10 minute relief. You can easily kill 20 minutes without even thinking about it, So yeah, you do got to put that mental clock or something okay, you had your fix, now get back to work. And then sometimes I get to work and my brain starts thinking, wait a minute, did I eat today? No, don't do this to me, stomach. Don't do it to me. And then I see it like a cheesy taco Barrera I'm like, it's a wrap. Okay, I'll eat something, then I'll get back to work. Just not too heavy, because then I want to take a nap. I want to end with this. Is there anything you like to add, like a message you like to say to the viewers out there?
No,
Unleash, come on with it.
Well, I'm a huge advocate for change, and I know I spoke about this a couple times just in this short talk, that who you were 5 years ago does not have to be who you are today, and take that with a grain of salt, because I'm still, an emerging individual, an emerging human, independent in the world. But through my past 6 years, I've grown so much. I've learned so much. I've been around some really high level professionals in basketball, and I've really been able to see what it kind of takes to reach that crazy level. UConn, and I'm sporting it today on my chest. They're a storied program. Even if you're not even a sports fan or know anything about basketball, you somehow know about UConn, about UNC, Chapel Hill, Duke, these big names.
Right.
So being in there, it really taught me that, you can, with some hard work, a strong vision, and consistency day in, each day, like I said, with even my page, how I post it every single day.
Mhm.
The compounding effect will do its magic, and that's another piece that people should understand, whether it's finances or even just habit building. And a great book, Darren Hardy, The Compound Effect, just talks about how your daily actions, even as small as they could be every single day, over time they'll build up on each other and it'll turn into something massive that most people will see as an overnight success one day, but you're going to be like, hey man, I've been at this for X amount of years and it's not easy work. But the main message is that you could truly change. I could speak from my own experience, and I was never a reader, and now I read, I'm almost 40 books in on a year, which is something that's completely beyond me. I would have never thought that I could even accomplish that. And I'm trying to get more going, and I'm trying to, elevate even more as we go on. So there's no limit for sure. I completely believe in the limitless, attitude. I've seen people excel in ways that I never thought are possible, and people with, a lot of doubts or not the proper background and being able to achieve things that, they never thought they could or no one else thought they could, but it's possible. And those are the best stories too. I think those are the best ones you want to read about, the ones you want to hear about and talk about. So I'll leave the viewers with that. And thanks again, Nate. This was awesome. I really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate your time, and I agree 100% with what you said. I mean, I think consistency is better than perfection. I don't think perfection exists, but little by little, add some to it, keep going with it, and then eventually your push through will be your breakthrough. And that was a powerful message there. You just hit me with it, Owen. So thanks again for your time. You stay blessed, brother. I'm looking forward to doing this again down the line.
Absolutely. Let me know whenever. I'm always happy to help, and we'll get more Nathan Hatchie work on the page, and everyone can stay tuned on my end. But thanks again, man.
Don't be stingy with Nathan Hatchie work on your page, right?
No, I'll get it there. It creeps in. Even those scattered book photos, you might be able to peek a little end of the book or the title. I try to throw everyone's in there.
I do see it. I'm just going through my feed. I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, there goes Unleash the Knowledge with my Unleash the book right there. But
I love it. Try to include everybody.
Appreciate it, man. Let me know when you're in California, and I'll let you know when I'm in Jersey.
Yes, absolutely. Let's do it. Looking forward.
Take care.